What is going on? How is everybody doing out here? We are back at it again with the NFC West Roundtable. I don't even know what week we are in. I think this is episode 3, but we're going into week 2, and I think it's very important that we're going to go ahead and talk about our teams. Obviously, you see me and Joe. We are going to have CG coming in shortly, so let's give him a little time. Steezy won't be here today, so there's going to be a lot of bashing on the Seahawks. Can you agree?
Yes, I can absolutely agree. Well, whatever you guys have to say about the Seahawks, that's totally fine. I'll give some jabs in there, especially because of Steezy's video talking about how overrated the Rams are this year, and now he has no way to defend himself. So we're going to take some shots.
100%. And I think it's rightfully so, man, because I saw the video too, and it's so funny because we all share a thread together, and he posted it on there. I was trying to figure out what you were gonna say. Like, I was like, what is my guy Joe gonna say? And it just kind of nothing happened.
I was at work at the time. I saw it pop in, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to look at that. And I was at work at the time, so I didn't say anything back. But then today I got a notification. Like, YouTube is like, hey, by the way, this video is out. You should check it.
By the way, there's somebody bashing on your team. Check it out.
Yeah, exactly. What the heck, man?
Awesome, dude.
Correct me if I'm wrong here. Did he pick the Rams to win the NFC West last week?
He did. Right? And then he comes out with this kind of rubbish. All right, man. Well, let's get started, man. Well, like I said, we are going to be waiting for CG, which is our 49ers guy. He will be in shortly. I think he's having some technical difficulties, but I think it's very important to just kind of start off with, preseason. But before we do, you have something awesome that you want to go ahead and share to the fan base here, is that you went to the SoFi Stadium, man. Talk to me about the experience.
Man, I've only ever been to the Broncos Stadium before that. That was the only NFL stadium I had been to. And walking into SoFi Stadium, all I can say is if you guys have a chance to go to that one, absolutely take it. It was unbelievable. I mean, of course, as a Rams fan, seeing that atmosphere is amazing, but Rams fan or not, I mean, that stadium is just it's top notch, man. I can't even really put it into words. I don't even know what to say. You just got to go see it for yourself, man. Seeing that infinity board up top, is
it all like glass, like kind of like you see the sky and stuff like that? So paint me a picture and how this looks.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of like illuminated. When it was daytime before the sun went down, you got like the light kind of like lighting up the canopy there, and then like everything's just really crisp. All the colors were just great. Like those colors just really popped out a lot. And then I was kind of sitting there like almost antsy for the sun to go down, and that screen, how bright it is, like you got all that flashing and stuff like that. There's just light everywhere, and then you got the they light up the top of it. It's actually like, because I don't know if you've seen that the top of it is like a screen almost, like so you can catch stuff if you're in a plane for like 20 seconds passing over. But yeah, man, it's vibrant, just color, like the colors of everything, absolutely amazing. Those jerseys, those blues, and that yellow horn on the helmets and stuff, that just really popped. I loved it so much. It was the first Rams home game I'd ever been to, albeit another one in December. But man, it's that was an experience for sure. My show this week on Ram Showcase, that'll be recorded tomorrow. I've got all my photos and stuff like that. I'll talk about not only the experience at SoFi, because there were some good and some bad of the SoFi experience, but I'll get into all of that on Ram Showcase tomorrow. So if you guys are interested in hearing from a huge Rams fans perspective of my first experience at SoFi, the first ever game that fans were allowed into, then check that out. I'll actually clip it out. That'll be its own topic as well. But there was a lot more positives than negatives, I can tell you that.
Awesome. Well, heck yeah, man. That's cool. I mean, obviously, I want to go if there's a Cardinals game. That would be amazing to go to. Obviously, I got to plan it out. I just had a new little baby girl, so it's going to be kind of hard to plan it out. But I definitely want to, man. That's amazing. Well, let's get started in week 1. All the kind of the good, the bad, the ugly, the stuff that we want to go ahead and share today. That's what we're here at the NFC West Roundtable. And we are going to be joined by CG a little earlier. Like I said, he just sending me some text message, said he's having a little bit of technical difficulties, but he's the person that I really wanted to get here because there's a lot of good stuff that's happening in week 1 from the San Francisco 49ers, but that might have to wait until a little bit in the middle of the show. But let's get started, man. The Rams, what's going on week 1? We obviously know the starters weren't playing. What's some highlights and some lowlights?
Yeah, man. As far as some highlights, there was There were some flashes from some players that I don't know if we expected to see flashes from. You know, Justin Lawler, he's been hanging around the Rams roster, kind of been on and off. You know, he's been bumped down practice squad and back active roster, but has never really put it together. But he played out of his mind, man. He was in that backfield the entire day, and he was doing a great job. They were talking to him after the game. He started like tearing up with his performance. It was pretty cool to see because, coming into the league, I believe he was a 7th round pick a couple years back and,
right.
Had a lot of potential. We were all excited for him, and then it just never was really working out, injuries, stuff like that. So He popped for sure. Bronte Harris at cornerback, that was somebody who popped that I did not expect to pop, but that was, definitely a pleasant surprise. And then that tight end, Jacob Harris, like I've been talking about, man, if he can, that was his first, game action. Of course, he's a rookie, but if he can keep on progressing, and if that's what we see in his first ever preseason game, I'm excited to see what this guy can do, man. And Tyler Higbee's contract doesn't expire until the end of the 23 season, but I think that Harris could be a guy that would force us to not give Higbee a contract. So then the low light would be that running game, which couldn't get it going. But backup offensive line. We were rotating a lot. We didn't have our top 2 technically running backs. Of course, Cam Akers is not going to be this year, and then Darrell Henderson. So I think we're still trying to find our footing with that. But that would be the low light for sure. Just didn't find any rhythm on the ground.
Gotcha. So what's the confidence? If you would have to put like a number on it, because I know Cam Akers, and the first thing I did was I went on our thread and I was like, oh, bro, like, is this like a big deal? So is Henderson going to be that number 1? And did you see him in the first game or no?
No, he's being sat because he is the starter, so
Gotcha.
he's going to be the number 1 guy. Last year he was playing great in the first half of the season. We didn't necessarily need to put in Cam Akers, but we had him, so we did, and it kind of worked out. It's kind of a luxury to have Cam Akers last year because Darrell Henderson was playing so well. So with this season, looking back, Cam Akers only had 1 more rushing yard than Darrell Henderson did last year, and Henderson had 3 more rushing touchdowns than Akers did. So, I am confident. It's just they're a little bit different styles, and we were able to implement some different things with Cam Akers. But I think Henderson's going to do a fine job for this team.
Gotcha. Wow, man, that's crazy. I'm excited. I know week 2 is coming around too. When is your week 2 game? Because mine is going to be this Friday at 5 p.m. AZ time.
Yeah, and you guys are NFL Network, I believe. So are the Rams. We're nationally televised again. Same time slot as last week, so it'll be 7 o'clock LA time on Saturday night, and the Rams are hosting at SoFi Stadium the Las Vegas Raiders. So that'll be a good one.
That would be okay. That's interesting. All right, cool. Okay, perfect. Well, here for the Cardinals, some pretty good things to report. I mean, we got some starters playing. We didn't get Kyler Murray, which I was a little bummed out about. But I mean, it's the first one. Cliff Kingsbury, our head coach, said, "Hey, yep, we're going to see starters in there." He didn't really specifically say Kyler. I just automatically assumed. But he ended up being held out along with A.J. Green and DeAndre Hopkins, which I know in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal. It's preseason. These games don't matter. I just honestly would love the opportunity to kind of see them gel more than anything. I think that would have been awesome. But we didn't get to see it, hopefully, in game 2. But we saw a lot of awesome things from a lot of the young rookies, which Zaven Collins, our first-round pick, did a very, very good job. And then we also have Eno Benjamin, our running back, which looks very, very promising. So I'm really excited about a lot of good things that are coming out of him. But we got CG coming in here. CG, dude, can you hear me?
My bad, man. This phone's been acting kind of awkward, man. Been having issues, and I had to keep restarting, and then I had to go look for Open Chrome, and I guess that's what got me in eventually.
Never had this problem. Hey, we blame it on the Matrix. That's what we do. We blame it on the Matrix. Cool, man. We're just talking about the recap of week 1 here. I'm talking a little bit Cardinals. We had Joe talk about the Rams. So let me keep finishing, then we'll jump with you because I know I have a lot of questions for you, man. A lot of questions about the San Francisco 49er week 1. So along with other players that we had for the Cardinals, we have Tay Gowan, Marco Wilson had an amazing job, really sparked up a lot of interest and peaks of a lot of fans from the Arizona Cardinal fan base, which is the cornerback out of Florida, which is pretty exciting because, when Patrick Peterson ended up leaving, it kind of left a hole in our hearts. I mean, he kind of talked his smack against us in the Cardinal organization, which sucked, but I understood why he did it. But needless to say, Marco Wilson looked dynamite, and I'm very, very excited to see what he does. And one last thing before we get to the 49ers, we have a solid kicker. We got a solid kicker. We ended up getting Matt Prater got us a field goal, and we beat the Dallas Cowboys. And I get it, it's preseason, but it's the Dallas Cowboys. You know what I mean? We don't like that team. So 19-16 ended up beating them. So I'm really excited about it. But CG, man, talk to me, man. Some lowlights, highlights about week 1.
Oh, week 1, Trey Lance looked pretty good, but I think it's based by the second offensive lineman. If the receivers would have caught the ball a little bit more, I think Trey Lance would have had a far better percentage. But as far as the 80-yard deep bomb to Trent Sherfield, man, that was Trey area.
Dude, let me tell you one thing here right now.
On the
my fans, or the Arizona Cardinal fans, I've had so much DMs about the Trent Sherfield catch. They're like, my goodness, look what's happening. And I was like, damn, like, sucks. How are you feeling about Trent Sherfield over there, man?
Well, he's a surprise because we picked him up for a low contract. So it's like this guy went from being a special teams gunner to maybe not have a chance on the roster to now maybe being the number 3 receiver. So that's kind of an interesting story. I mean, okay, he's a standout because he's been getting the connections with Trey Lance and everybody else. So he's been working out good. The one guy who stood out in preseason was, man, this guy was – I didn't think he would actually step up as good as I expected it to be, but this guy, Charlie Warner, did pretty solid. He looked like he was going to be off the roster, but he had some good performance, that tight end Charlie Warner. And then Hufanga, he made some good stops on those plays. Like Hufanga was making some decent plays out there. As far as like the guy who stood out to me that I'm looking forward to is Jaquan Jennings. I kept saying Jaquan Jennings might be our number 3 receiver.
Okay. All right. And that's a draft pick. I'm sorry, I don't really follow too much of the 49ers. Is that a draft pick? Is that a undrafted pick?
No, this guy was last year's 7th-round pick from Tennessee. He's actually good.
Okay.
Check out his highlight from Tennessee, the dog highlight.
Gotcha. We'll check it out. Any questions for CG, Joe?
I want to know, as far as the expectations of Lance, did he match that, beat it? Did he underperform for what you were expecting from him? Because he did do a good job, but I'm interested to see like how you felt going in. Where did he fall into that?
The expectation was he was going to put up a decent performance, but as far as the completion percentage, that's coachable. So as far as him being our starter, I don't expect him to be starter week 1 right away. So let's put that to rest.
Has that changed? I know we had talked about it last week a little bit, and I asked you like when do you think that he'll come in? Not necessarily when do you want him to come in, but when do you think he'll come in? Has that altered at all based on that first game?
Oh, it determines, but I think it's going to give Trey Lance the more reps he plays in the preseason, the more he'll get better. But I don't expect him to be the starter week 1. Maybe midway to the season, if it doesn't go as planned, like they say, if Jimmy struggles or we have a terrible record and we got nothing else to play for, of course we'll play Trey Lance. But that's the if, man. That's the if. You know,
what did Jimmy G do?
What did Jimmy G do? He completed all his passes. So that was all he did in the first series. All the passes were all completed. It was mostly a bunch of dink and dunk plays, no deep passes.
What's Jimmy G's contract look like?
Oh, Jimmy G's contract? He has this year's contract and then next year. So we have the option to maybe trade him next year. If we were to cut him, we would have been able to save some cap space money, but since we're keeping him, it's a luxury. So I don't know why, but I don't think it's the right time to play Trey right now. Let Trey get some more reps on preseason. Let him build up his confidence, and as soon as he's ready, we're gonna shock the world.
Nice. Okay, well, I have the stats right here, man. So I know you said Jimmy G's completed all his passes. He's 3 of 3, 26 yards. Trey Lance, 5 out of 14, 128 yards. Josh Rosen, 10 and 15, 93 yards. Now, I'll talk about Josh Rosen because he just got cut today. Is that correct?
Yes, he did. Unfortunately, I think it's based by because we didn't have enough room for him, and we like the Nate Sudfeld better than him, so that's what it seems like to the coaching staff.
The guy cannot catch a break, man. I feel so freaking bad for Josh Rosen, man. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I'm going to be rocking with Kyler Murray. I just feel bad for the guy. But You did say three of well, he did say he completed all passes, but 3 of 3. I mean, how much time did he play? Was it only a couple drives? Was it a drive only? What was the production load for Jimmy G?
One series. That was it.
Okay, that's not bad. Okay.
I mean, that is technically all of his passes, though.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. Exactly.
Yeah, 3 for 24 or 3 for 28 for those passes.
Okay.
Like 3 for 3 for that amount of yards, because he completed his first pass to Debo, and then the pass to the fullback Josh Hokett, and then he completed a pass to I think it was to Jennings or something, or was it the other tight end? I'm not sure, because I wasn't able to watch the rest of it because I had to go back to work after that.
Yeah, no worries, man. That definitely makes sense. I know Trey Lance also got 4 sacks, or he got 4 sacks on him as well. So you think that's more of a the line being just not being the starters, or do you think that the Kansas City just came in like full force?
The offensive line, the second team, it's just they weren't gelling good. So I think it's got to do with because Kansas City played the majority of their starters on defense, so that can be the issue. I saw that,
man. I saw that. Yeah, they weren't playing around, dude. And we have the Kansas City Chiefs coming up this week. So I think we might see Mahomes, maybe a couple drives kind of similar to what you had, maybe not. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited about to see what this looks like. But I can't wait for the week until you're standing up on a soapbox and saying, I want to see Trey Lance, because that's me right now, man. I want to see Trey Lance for you. And I know it's only a matter of time before, Jimmy G ends up not doing so good, and the 49er fan base, what do you guys call yourself? The faithful, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, we call ourselves the original, or called faithful, or the empire, but I think like the old school we call them faithful, but empire is what we call ourselves now.
And that's what I'm saying, man. They're gonna be pitchforking. I promise you, man. What's your prediction, Joe? I'll give my prediction. I say week 5, we're gonna start seeing some Trey Lance.
Well, I mean, like I mentioned last week, when the fans are asking for it, that puts a lot of pressure on the team to actually do it. And with Jimmy specifically, I don't know how fast that fans will get sick of him, but it's not necessarily about Jimmy. It's about wanting to see that new rookie. It's the flashy new weapon that you got, and people are going to want to see it. I put it about the same range, that 5 or 6. I think people are really going to be antsy to see him, and I don't think he makes it to week 10 on the bench.
That's fair. That's more realistic than mine. But what about you, CG? What are you thinking? If you give me a week.
Well, we gotta wait and see how it plays out. I'm just hoping for the best case. I'm just hoping for the best case scenario for Jimmy, so we can at least win games and then not have to rush the kid in.
Yeah, and maybe there's. So to say that it would be like my take, you would say that you guys won't be good. But yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, that's fair.
Well, I mean, eventually Trey's going to take over at some point, but I just rather have Jimmy for right now, so we can get a draft pick value for next year, so we can trade it to that team that wants him, and we could build around Trey Lance, and then we'll be pretty good for a while. I think I'm hearing plans that we might use him in Taysom Hill type gadget plays, maybe. So we might see some of those.
I mean, that makes sense, but I mean, realistically though, whatever Jimmy G, you're not going to pull a lot for Jimmy G in a trade. I mean, his value's already gone because of the existence of Trey Lance, because a team is not going to offer more when they're like, you don't even want him anyway. You're moving on. So his value's gone anyway. I don't see the 49ers pulling anything better than maybe a 3rd or 4th round pick for him. That's at best.
Even a 3rd round is decent. At least we can still build a team. I take it any day of the week.
Yeah, anything is good to get for sure. But I as far as getting a decent haul for him, I think that whoever it is will get a discount price on him. They'll kind of underpay, so to speak, for a guy that has experience and has had certain levels of success in this league. They'll definitely get a bargain.
Yeah, I agree. And what about you over there, Joe? In terms of not playing the starters, I know Sean McVay's been doing this since he's always been, so it's nothing really new in terms of not playing the starters. But are you antsy to see what Stafford can do? I know you got yourself a Stafford jersey right there, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, picked this one up at SoFi. I spent a lot of money at SoFi Stadium, but going through, and I just walked into the team store and kind of had one of those moments oh man, this is this is it. This is the equipment room of SoFi. And then I started just grabbing stuff off the shelf, so
Nice.
dropped a few $100 in a couple minutes, but hey, it's worth it. It's cool. And
credit card problems, all good.
So, yeah, man, we traded for Matthew Stafford before the Super Bowl. So I knew immediately right then, it was like, as exciting as that moment even was, even then was like, man, we're going to have to wait a while. And of course, knowing he's not going to play preseason, anything like that. But, as far as the quarterback situation goes, if we're going to talk about preseason, man, I'm a little bit nervous that Bryce Perkins did such a dope job, because I don't think there's any way that he makes our final roster. And for him to clear waivers, I think is going to be a tall task. I think somebody's going to snag him from us. And I don't like that, because I like Bryce Perkins. So
Right. Nice. Do you think Jalen Ramsey's still the top corner?
I don't see any reason not to think that, honestly. I mean, he played so well last year. I mean, it wasn't one of those, because he had one pick last year. So, I mean, people will look at stats and say that he, it's like they're saying, how could he be that good or whatever. But, I mean, he was really, whoever he was on, they were out of the play, So, I don't think, obviously, corners typically, they last at that top tier, amazing level as like the number one guy for usually 2-3. They can maybe push for 4 years, and then they start to fall off. So I'm just trying to soak it in while we got at that level. So I think that he improved quite a bit from his like little half year, his original time with the Rams in the 19 season and then into 2020. So I'm excited to see if he can keep progressing and stuff like that. And I don't think there's any reason to not think that he's one of the top guys still.
Yeah, that's fair. So I got somebody here on the comments here. D-Hop, greater than Ramsey. Obviously different positions, but that's going to be an exciting matchup, especially coming around. I know last year we didn't do so hot against Ramsey, but that's going to be an exciting matchup.
I mean, what were his numbers last year? I can't even remember. I know that Ramsey did not give up a lot to anybody last year, so I don't know.
Well, the hype was that D-Hop was gonna, do some damage on him. But I think one of the biggest also thing is like the return of AJ Green, because didn't him and AJ Green have some sort of beef when he was in Cincinnati? Also, I think they got into a fight, like choking fight or something.
Yeah, there was a good little battle between those two, so that'll be fun to watch. But also, I mean, speaking of Ramsey, one thing that we've actually heard recently from Sean McVay is he wants to kind of mix up Ramsey in his location a little bit. So we're not just expecting to see Ramsey just, shadowing one guy or just staying to one side. Basically what McVay said is that, I can't even remember what it was on, but he basically said that he wants the quarterback to have to go to the line and then find Ramsey. Like, so we don't know where he's going to be. He's going to be a nickel. He's going to be outside. He's going to be all over the place. So that's going to be an added wrinkle. And then I think that that's something that we'll also see up front with Aaron Donald. So you get to the line, where's Ramsey, where's Donald? You got to find them. They're not going to just be exactly where you expect them to be every single time. So that'll be really interesting to see. I'm really pumped for that, especially week one, trying to confuse either the Red Rocket, which I'm pretty sure that'll be. I don't think Fields is going to start week one still. I don't care what he does, but in preseason. But confusing them, I think will be huge. And that's just, if you can add 3 more seconds to the pre-snap, then maybe you get a couple more penalties here, maybe just a little bit more confusion somewhere. So I'm excited to see how that plays out.
True. CJ, I got a question for you, my guy. The running back situation over there, man. I know a player that I really like that you guys picked up in the draft was Trey Sermon. What did you feel about his production the first game, or did you see somebody else that's going to rise up to the starting role?
I think it's just based by the offensive line. I think he's a good vision runner. I don't think it's much of an issue like the way I think. I mean, he can catch the ball off the back foot, which we already seen a little bit of that. I like what I saw out of Jermichael Hesty. The guy kind of had that little cut run. Ooh, dude, this guy, I don't know. He might just make a case of making the team just by the way he makes those cuts. Like, I'm scared at the fact that if we cut him, the Rams might take him. And that's not the one thing we want. We don't want the Rams to take Hesty or Seattle.
Yeah, man, that's fair. It seems like you're rushing here. Yeah, so Jermichael, is it Hasty? Whatever it is. But yeah, he's got 63 yards. We got Webster with 34, Trey Sermon with 9 carries and 26 yards. Hey, man, I know you more of the run on the outside type of, running game in the San Francisco 49ers, at least the last years. Is that changed, or is that similar approach, you think?
What, from this offense?
Yeah, from this offense.
It's kind of a little bit more of a running game. They're just going to run the ball a little bit more. It's hasn't really changed as much as far as like the way we've done lately, but they're just adding more wrinkles to it. Like you're going to see a 2 tight end set, more blocking. They're going to try to run the ball more and make it easy for Jimmy, and then they're going to build up confidence. Maybe that's where they're going to give Trey Lance the opportunity down the road. So, like you guys said, it might just be midway to the season where we might see a change at quarterback. So that could be the change of the offense. Is the only thing that's going to change a lot of our offense is Trey Lance. He'll change a lot of the playbook. We'll open it up. But Jimmy's just the same old playbook. We're not going to be able to open up a lot of the playbook with him.
I think best case scenario for the 49ers and their quarterback situation this year would be Garoppolo staying healthy and remaining on the field. But then also another team who maybe doesn't have a strong backup, maybe their starter experiencing an injury, and then that also kind of coinciding with the timing of Trey Lance kind of being a little bit more comfortable. You know what I mean? I think that's like best case scenario, unloading Garoppolo in the season before the trade deadline because of an injury somewhere else, where the 49ers might be able to bump up that value just a little bit more if the other team is actually a little bit desperate. Maybe they started real strong and then their starter goes down or something like that. So, I mean, that's like best case scenario. Obviously, if that falls into place, that'd be crazy. But
yeah, that's just the way we're hoping for. Best case scenario, Jimmy G stays healthy, plays really good, and then we can build up that draft pick from him. But I know a lot of our fan base, they're trying to hype for Trey Lance, and I'm with the Trey Lance, but I just want them to be patient with it. You know, we gotta let this guy learn this offense. I mean, let's be honest. He was playing with second string offensive line. Sure, he got sacked 4 times. It's not technically all his fault that the receivers dropped the ball here and there, especially Ayuk. You got to catch the ball, Ayuk. No offense, but come on, dude. I think the kid's a work in progress. He's definitely good. I like what I see. The 80-yard pass to Trent Sherfield, that's a beautiful situation, but I heard what you said about the previous years. Even Cardinal Rule told me about Trent Sherfield. He was a hype for you guys in the preseason, so maybe this is just maybe it's a trickery again. Maybe he's just the hype, like the hype that we got to watch out for. Maybe he might do good, maybe not, but I do like what I see out of Jaquan Jennings. Jaquan Jennings is good after the catch. Throw a shuffle pass. Ooh, dude, he's breaking tackles like a running back. Dude, he's a physical guy, dude. Like, if you guys haven't watched any of his college highlights, go check out Jaquan Jennings, bro. This guy is a beast.
Yeah, well, the Trent Sherfield thing, I don't think it's nothing to do with him, really. I honestly do think it's because just the lack of the opportunity, really, more than anything. I think the wide receiving room was just way too much, especially when D-Hop was involved. And, you know, you're the thing that the Cardinals do is they love to always favor veterans. That's just always what they do. When they say, oh, best player available, it's not really when it comes down to it. Because if that was the case, then we probably won't be calling somebody starters right off the bat without going to preseason and training camp and stuff like that. But we've always done that as a fan. I've seen it. So I think Trent Sherfield will be really good. Maybe if you guys keep him as a number 4 or even number 3, I think he definitely will do a really good job for the 49ers. It's going to suck for me to see it, especially against the Cardinals, but I hope he does really good over there.
Yeah, I mean, he's standing out. I just want to hope that he stays the same, because sometimes when you have breakout in camp and throughout preseason, it doesn't really mean nothing. Just look for examples. We had Marlon Moore, who was a preseason hype guy, didn't pan out. We had Josh Morgan, who was hype at one point, didn't pan out. I mean, I like what I see out of Jaquan Jennings. He's like more of a real number 3 receiver that we need. This is a guy who should replace Kendrick Bourne. He's a physical guy after the catch. He likes to block. He likes to hurt people. That's what I like about him. If I'm Jalen Hurd, I should be worried. I should get on the field, because right now Trent Sherfield and Jaquan Jennings are playing better. Heck, even what's his name, Webster. Some of Webster's playing outstanding, and he's a gadget player. Come on, Hurd. Get play 2 more games, Hurd. You need to play 2 games. Sorry, man.
Yeah, it was so funny, man. I'm sitting there, I see the highlight of Trey Lance hitting Sherfield deep. I immediately thought of you two, and I was like, man, I'm going to hear both of those names so much this week. The play was like designed for this conversation to happen. We talked about it last week. I'm sure you guys remember, but
Yeah, no, definitely, man. So perfect. So that's how we're going to end our roundtable, man. So here's what we're going to do. Just to go ahead and remind everybody, every Tuesday at 6 p.m., we will be doing roundtables, NFC West. Obviously, it's going to get a little bit more intense when the season comes around. Right now, we're all best friends. You know what I mean? We're talking about little stuff here and there, the training camp, Gucci, but when it comes down to the season, that's when it's going to get really good stuff. So I'm really excited. But we will also be moving around on everybody's channel. So make sure you're subscribed to CG Ruthless Sports, Sheriff Joe, which is basically Rams Showcase. And then we also have a Seahawks guy, which is in here today, which we didn't honestly bag on him as much as we should have.
We should have got a second.
Should we do a quick round?
We should have got a backup Seahawks guy over here. We should have got a second.
Sheesh.
It is preseason, but
I'll call my boy Sam Dog. Maybe he'll fill in for Steezy for that day.
we'll just throw it out there.
Just playing, bro.
I'll just throw it out there now because Steezy's not here to defend himself. Seahawks are getting last place in this division by 4 games. Steezy can't say anything about it.
Right. New predictions here: Rams, Cardinals, 49ers, and then we got
Seahawks probably get the first overall pick. I'm thinking, guys. You're right.
Yeah, first overall pick. That sounds right.
Seattle, man. This is where Russell might say, I want out of here. Bye. I'm going out.
Yeah, he's going to be gone by week 6. Yeah. Promise you.
He's going.
All right, brothers. All right. Well, I'll see you next week. We'll definitely stick around, guys. But yes, we'll see you next week. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Don't forget to smash that like button. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.